This is Carla Hinton reporting for the Oklahoman and NewsOK.com. I'm here in the studio with Stuart McAllister with RZIM. For those of you who don't know, that stands for the Ravi Zacharias International Ministries, headquartered in Atlanta. Thank you so much for coming.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Good, good. Well, the first question I have for you is, tell us what RZIM is and what's your role with the organization?
Well, we're a Christian nonprofit organization, and basically our vision is basically we talk about helping the thinker to believe and the believer to think. So because there's a lot of hostility often about questions of religion or faith or ideas, we go into the marketplace to try and help people understand, well, what do Christians believe, or people who have oppositional or problems with that, and try and engage them in a civil way about the truths and the things that we find most important in life.
Okay, okay. And tell me a little bit about what you do for the organization.
Well, I'm the regional director. So you might wonder with this accent, obviously not born in the States, okay, although I am an American citizen today, but I'm the regional director for the Americas. So we have work here in the United States and Canada, okay, and also in Latin America, and we're reaching out in those areas. Okay,
interesting. And you all have a presence of a lot of places, right? Just all over the world.
Yes, we're a global. We have offices in Singapore, in Hong Kong. We have people in the Middle East. We have a very significant work based in Oxford, okay, working there in the whole area around England and Britain, and obviously offices also in Europe. So we try to engage with different cultures and different ways of engaging reality, okay, and then deal with the big questions of life.
Okay, okay, good, interesting, interesting. So it's very interesting that this global organization is here in Oklahoma City, so thanks for coming.
We're glad to be here.
Well, tell me a little bit about the topics that you all will be discussing. One, tomorrow at OU, they will be talking about religious intolerance. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, I think the question specifically posed was, is Christianity intolerant?
Okay.
And I think the idea is because in the world today of pluralism, and particularly things like the new atheism, that all religion is violent. Now, there is obviously violent and problems with religious views, but we believe that the religious questions and all questions need to be handled with respect. So we need to look at whether or not who is claiming what, discuss and then engage with the actual questions and discussion, and we take question and answer so that we can show that we don't want to be intolerant. We actually want to hear the objections and attempt to answer. So my colleague Michael Ramsden will be engaging that question tomorrow.
Okay, good, good, interesting, interesting. And now you will be at an event, I think you're going to be at UCO on
yes,
Wednesday, and you will be talking about In Pursuit of Meaning. What does that mean?
Well, one of the things we're seeing is that it seems a fundamental question we all ask is, who am I, why am I here, where am I headed? So the search for meaning is one of the deepest quests of human existence. Okay. Obviously, Islam is an answer to that, as does Hinduism, as does Buddhism, does Christianity. And in some systems, they say there is no meaning. The meaning of life, there is no meaning. So what I want to do is address the question and see whether or not we can look at it, why is it important, and where might we look for answers, and see how important, and then engage in a dialogue about how alternatives might do that as well.
Okay, okay. I have one last question for you that I just thought of. What kind of response do you usually have to some of your ideas and your presentations? What's the general response, if you had a general response? Are people receptive to what you're doing?
I think they are when they find it. If there's an openness to share and exchange. Last year in Oklahoma, we engaged in a dialogue with some of the atheist societies here, and it was very, very civil. There was a good exchange. I think when civility is modeled, when there's generosity on both sides, when there's a willingness to listen, then we may agree to disagree, right, but at least we've stated our reasons, and then people can make up their own mind, right, about what's true and what's not. And so I think in other parts of the world we find that actually more open. It's becoming a little bit more intolerant in America, which is a surprise, right, given that that's one of the bedrocks of our country. But we generally get a positive response.
Okay, interesting, interesting. Well, thank you so much for coming in today.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
All right. Well, for more information, read The Oklahoman.